This was a pretty tough day for tech. Semiconductor stocks were squeezed on two fronts. There are the trade concerns, of course, which we'll get to in a moment. But then late today, there was a report that the Federal Trade Commission is investigating Broadcom, a dominant player in this sector. The agency is reportedly widening its antitrust probe, looking into the tactics used by Broadcom to sell its processors. That sent that stock down about 6% today. Broadcom was already among the semiconductor companies trading lower on concern that they will no longer be able to sell products to China's telecom giant Huawei. The Trump administration recently added Huawei to a U.S. trade blacklist, effectively barring firms from doing business with it without special approval. And American companies have already moved swiftly to comply. Google, for example, has cut access to some of its Android services on Huawei smartphones. Huawei's reach into the global technology industry is broad, which is why some say this latest move has pushed the trade war into a new phase. Kayla Tausche takes a look at where things stand for us tonight.
In the weeks since the U.S. and China last talked trade face-to-face, the rift has widened between the two countries. President Trump doubling down, blaming China for reneging.
We had a very strong deal. We had a good deal. And at the end, they changed it. And I said, that's okay. We're going to tariff their products. And we put a 25% tariff on their products.
China's foreign ministry says that deal never existed. The U.S., a foreign ministry spokesperson said, has extravagant expectations. A fraying relationship on trade now threatens geopolitical issues. A U.S. warship sailing near territory Beijing claims in the South China Sea. Chinese state television airing anti-American movies in primetime slots. CCTV saying on social app Weibo, the Korean War era films echo the current era. And Iran's foreign minister suggesting to China the countries could team up against Washington to uphold the 2015 nuclear deal. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo and China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi spoke by phone over the weekend. The State Department said the two discussed Iran and elements of the bilateral relationship. China said Wang warned the U.S. not to go too far in harming its interests. Its main business interest right now is telecom giant Huawei. Google suspending Android service from new Huawei devices after the U.S. put Huawei on a blacklist last week. Commerce can ban any involvement of Huawei in telecom projects, but may allow some equipment to be purchased to avoid disrupting some rural networks. U.S. companies impacted by the trade war are cutting costs first and then headcount, according to Morgan Stanley. If the re-escalation doesn't get resolved soon, its analyst says a recession becomes increasingly likely. For Nightly Business Report, I'm Kayla Tausche in Washington.